Hey, what's happening out there? This is Halftime Prep Talk. And you're watching us on dailyindependent.com or HTPT's Facebook page or YouTube. I'm here with Matthew Sparks and Zack Klemme. I'm Aaron Snyder. Check out the Chick-fil-A ticker on the bottom of your screen. You'll see up-to-date Northeastern Kentucky softball and baseball records of all the teams. And if you'll notice, a lot of the softball teams, about 75% of the softball teams have winning records in the area. So that's pretty impressive, right?
There you go.
We're here at Russell. We're going to talk to Coach Dave Wheeler, the Russell softball team. They've won 11 straight games. We're also going to bring in Emma Eisen, Sarah Heineman, and Alexis Maynard. Matt and Zach, you guys we're back from spring break. All the teams are back, so we're ready to go for this, kind of middle part of the season. What have you guys noticed so far? Maybe let's recap this spring break a little bit. What team kind of impressed you? What team or teams impressed you on spring break?
Well, it's fine. We got some spring-like weather here finally. It's nice. It snowed just a few days ago. Kept me from going to Keeneland, but that's another matter.
Oh boy, are we saving up for two for the road?
No.
Oh man,
no.
How unfortunate.
Well, of course, you got to look at Greenup County. That team is very impressive. Of course, hasn't skipped a beat from last season. Now
they're not bad.
Yeah, not bad. Not 16-0. Of course, we got to look at when you talk about them first, you talk about the pitching. But I think this year, I think that they have stepped up at the plate. I think maybe that's why you're seeing such an improvement, maybe record-wise. They've averaging 10 runs a game so far, showing a little more power than they did last year. I think what Logan said, they've been eating bacon grease down there, because you probably could say it because they're sizzling right now at the plate.
Yeah, I've changed my diet up a little bit. Oh, I ruined your joke. I'm sorry.
Well,
I changed my diet up a little bit to kind of, I don't know. Coach Wheeler said I could take some swings out here, so I've been eating some more bacon. Maybe I'll hit some home runs off of assistant coach TJ Maynard here in a little bit.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah. Anyway, what about you, Zach?
Well, we'll stay in the 63rd District, and the Russell Red Devils are a team. You talked about who really came on over spring break. A 9-2 win against Boyd County on Tuesday, very impressive win. Their offense did a good job of putting the ball in play, making things happen, sitting on pitches that they knew they had an opportunity when they got ahead in the count, and just taking advantage of what they were able to get. And Russell is a team that started 0-4 this year,
right.
Averaged 2.8 runs a game in those four, and then it began to click. They have a big win here against Ashland right before they went on spring break, went down there, played some tough competition, got beat pretty good, I believe, by West Jessamine, the defending state champ, but got down there and began to score some runs, that they talked about after the Boyd game. It's just seeing at bats, seeing live pitching, getting reps, getting in the sun, and kind of, getting your muscles loosened up a little bit. That helps everybody offensively. Is just kind of being able to warm weather seems to be good for offenses.
Of course.
In baseball and softball, and Russell's really begun to come on after a really cold start. Is beginning to look like the team that made a run late in the year last year to get to the region finals.
Obviously, new coach there, Tim Rice, and he's done.
I tell you, you look at these spring break trips, so I think maybe you get a little more different mindset now with some of the teams. It's not more just fun in the sun, like a bonding trip. I mean, they go down there with a lot of confidence now, and they expect to win those games now instead of just going down there for the experience, coming back. You see that a lot of teams swept their whole trip.
Yeah, 2 undefeated teams left in the area. Greenup County baseball, you mentioned 16-0, and East Carter softball 13-0. So let's go to triple play. We're going to give out our game balls. Zach, do you have the softball there?
I did.
All right, you're up first. Who you got?
We're going to go with Lewis County softball pitcher Jalissa Cortez. A big night for the Lady Lions on Tuesday night. They ended a 23-game losing streak against 63rd District opposition. Went to Greenup, beat the Lady Musketeers 8-1. Cortez was the pitcher of record. She went the distance, pitched a 5-hitter, 4 strikeouts, 0 walks, which is pretty impressive for anybody in baseball or softball in this area, especially you're kind of getting to the middle part of the year. Pitchers are starting to figure out the strike zone and get into a rhythm. That's a difficult thing. Another thing that you see this time of year is people begin to figure it out. So big win for the Lady Lions, Matthew.
Right.
Oh, softball action this week. I tell you,
but you're going baseball.
Yeah,
you're in a softball field.
I'm going baseball. I'm going to give mine to Jordan Walburn of East Carter. You look at maybe his stat sheet. Yeah, a little lefty. You look at his stat sheet from Tuesday night against Ashland. Maybe not the best stat sheet you've ever seen, but really had to grind out a gutty performance. Pitched 43 pitches in that first inning. Got out of a base-loaded jam with a big strikeout. Gave East Carter 4 solid innings. They're shorthanded on pitcher right now, East Carter. So Coach Jeremiah Shearer told me he told him he had to have a long outing that night, and that's what he gave him.
What about Ariana Canoy for Boyd County softball? She came through with a huge performance. That is something that I was kind of penciling in as a question mark for Boyd County softball this year is what's their pitching going to look like after Laura Thompson is gone? And, you know, Jeff Stewart, he's kind of struck gold here with Ariana Kanoy back on the team after a 1-year hiatus. And, you know, she goes and doesn't walk a soul against Ashland and gives up, 3 hits and shuts out the Kittens. So a huge win for Boyd County and maybe an even bigger personal win for Ariana Kanoy.
You knew they would be solid offensively, and it's just a matter of what else they would be able to do. And of course, it's just the first game of 3 or maybe 4 that they will play, so it'll be interesting to see how the Ashland Boyd series plays out over the rest of the year, but certainly a great start for the Lady Lions.
You're always throwing the ball toward the equipment. I don't understand that. Throw it away from the equipment. I mean, that's expensive stuff.
Well, you know you're not going to hit any people if you throw it over there.
Well, you never know.
I like to live dangersely.
Well, it's your sister, so you go right ahead.
Let's play 2. Okay. Top games of the weekend. There's a lot to choose from. Baseball, let's go to Lawrence County. We're going to have the Big Sandy Bash this weekend. And Boyd County and Lawrence County. Actually, Lawrence County alum out here, and Dave Wheeler. So he was a catcher for the Bulldogs back in the 80s. But Lawrence County is going to host Boyd, and you saw Lawrence County the other day against East Carter, coming off a nice win there.
A lot of speed through that lineup, a lot of athletes. Bulldogs go as Morgan Miller goes, the leadoff hitter.
And catcher.
And a catcher. You don't really see a catcher with that speed and athletic ability at leading off. Has some power leading off the lineup too. Bulldogs have a solid pitching staff. Austin Bailey has a rocket for a right arm. Chase Coverdale, and now I saw Monday night Drake Behringer had a nice outing for them too. So they got
for them.
Yeah, they got pitching up and down that staff too. So it's going to be a really tough game for Boyd County.
Yeah, and Boyd, you know, they're kind of trying to recover. You saw them against Russell. They're trying to recover from some big losses from last year, and it's going to take a little while.
Yeah, they know that, though. Talking to Brandon Ramsey after the game, he said, okay, we've gotten to the part of our trip where our season now where you're through the spring break trip. You're through kind of that. A lot of teams will break their season down into segments. Okay, you got everything before the trip, and then you got after the trip, and then you got everything until the district tournament. They're into the third part of that. It's time to really buckle down, try to make improvement. They've got some younger guys they're asking to do more than they have in the past, and it's just a matter of trying to get those guys acclimated and up to speed to contribute at the varsity level. But they've still got some pieces, very good offensive pieces, that will keep Boyd in a lot of games, even if their pitching is kind of still coming along at this point.
And then for our other game of the weekend, we'll go right here where we're standing right now, where they're going to host the Tri-State Softball Showcase, actually co-host with Ashland. And right here about 3 o'clock on Saturday, East Carter at Russell Softball. Zach, you'll be here for that game. What are you looking forward to the most about that one?
Well, a lot of kind of East has gotten off to a really good start the last couple of years. It helps them. Their district is not real strong, so they've got 5 or 6 games they can kind of play around with and try some stuff and figure out what they've got. They've worked, it seems like, on providing some depth behind Montana Fouts, obviously one of the best players in the region and has the potential to be one of the best in the history of the region if she continues
sophomore, of course,
on the pace that she is, and if she sticks around. It will be interesting to see if Russell tries to do some things. Their offense is going pretty well right now, or has at times at least, and what they try to do against the Montana Fouts, because you're going to struggle more often than not to put the ball in play. So it's kind of interesting. There's been some dominant pitchers in the region in recent years, like somebody that's been able to. What you have to do is try to figure out how you're going to take pitches or work the strike zone, work the count, figure out ways like a Megan Hensley to figure out a way to get on base. And it'll just be interesting to see what Russell does to try to get something going offensively against the Montana Fouts, knowing that you may have to go through a Montana Fouts to win the region eventually. That's what they want to do. Okay, well, what are we going to do to kind of have a game plan come May?
As impressive as Russell's been, it'll be a little extra icing on the cake if they can do something this weekend.
They can too, but if you look at the whole weekend for Russell, trying to figure out Montana Fouts might not be the only challenge.
Sure.
They have 2 other very tough opponents, East Jessamine and Sims Valley. Those 3 teams have a combined 36 wins right now. 2 of them are undefeated. East Jessamine comes in with a 13-game winning streak, just like Russell with 11. So it's going to be. We want to test here in the middle of the season. I think Russell's going to have one this weekend, and it'll be a nice measuring stick for the rest of the season for them.
Another thing to keep an eye on is the 16th Region All-A Classic. That's going to wrap up on Friday night. Softball at Bath County and baseball at Raceland. So we'll see how that kind of turns out as well. West Carter and Raceland, respectively, in baseball and softball would probably have to be the favorites.
Defending champs and still in the mix to do so again.
The Class A is always a big deal for the small schools. You look at the girls softball, they're going to get a little bit early look at the region championship side over Bath County. It's going to be nice for them, and Of course, if you want to go out Friday night and watch the boys baseball championship, you might see Ben Jordan pitch against maybe Tyler Morris. We don't know exactly the pitching matchups, but you would think for a championship game, you want to see your number ones out there, and that would be quite the matchup for those two teams.
If the sun is setting, maybe he can block it out a little bit. He's 6'9", frame, so you might not even have to wear your sunglasses.
There you go.
You know. All right, let's talk to the Lady Devils.
Back here at Russell High School with Emma Eisen, Russell softball senior. And Emma, you also are kind of known on the volleyball court around here as an outside hitter that has the ability to put it down pretty hard. So when you look at volleyball in the fall and then softball in the spring, which one is more interesting to you, or you get more enjoyment out of, or is it just kind of about the same?
I honestly like softball better, mainly because I just love the fact that I get to be outside and then wallow around in the dirt, which is one of my favorites.
There you go.
But also, I don't know, I just think there's a lot more chemistry with softball. Like, I can encourage my teammates and be as loud as I want and not have to be restricted by the gym.
So you have a chance to put a spike down in somebody's face or throw somebody out as a catcher. Which one? You got to pick one or the other. Which one do you like better?
Ooh, I like both of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do like spiking in people's faces.
It looks very entertaining when you do it, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Coming out this year, and you've been used pretty much exclusively behind the plate this year. You've shifted around a little bit the last few years during your high school career. What's it been like shifting to being primarily and almost exclusively a catcher this season?
I really do enjoy playing other positions too, like outfield, but catching's always been my favorite because I feel like you get a bird's eye view of whatever's happening on the field, and you really have to be really talkative and encourage all of your teammates, and that's like my favorite part about softball.
Of course, the pitches are coming in from the dugouts. You're really kind of controlling how things go. Is that something that you like, being able to really have a role in controlling how the game goes?
Yeah, I love that.
Very much so. Offensively, what do you see your role as being for the offense out here?
I'm not one of our home run hitters, but I definitely try and do my part. I'm more of a base hitter. As long as I can get on base and help my team score runs, that's what I want to do.
You guys are coming off of last year, playing tough there in the district, not quite getting it done. Coming in this year, what has it been like kind of trying to get back on top where you guys have been for so long, of getting that spot back at top of the district?
We're doing a lot better this year as far as like we know what we need to work toward, and I think we're doing a really good job of just trying to do our absolute best every game and come into the district and regional tournaments knowing that we can beat these people and we can be the best.
You guys have a lot of players from other sports as well on this team. You play volleyball. There's some basketball players that won the region tournament. There's some soccer players that have been one of the best programs around. How much does that kind of success in other sports help breed success out here?
It definitely helps a lot because you get girls that like don't just play softball all year round, so they come into the sport and they're really fresh and they're excited to play softball. Unless like somebody who just plays travel ball all year round, they get sick of just doing the same thing over and over. So it's sort of like a new way, a fresh start to get going.
You mentioned off the field wallowing in the dirt is kind of an interest for you. What other things do you like to do when you're not out here playing?
I love hiking and running and a lot of things outdoors.
And you kind of know already what you want to do for college?
Yeah, I want to get a degree in biomedical engineering and go to the University of Louisville.
All right, very cool. We'll be back in a minute.
Okay, here at Russell Softball Complex, we continue the HTPT show with Sarah Heineman, a junior on the team. Sarah, I got to ask you about, obviously you've been a standout in a couple sports, volleyball and softball, and a lot of the same teammates in both sports. So how does that kind of translate chemistry-wise from the volleyball court to the softball field?
Well, we have a lot of different personalities on the softball field coming from all these different sports, and I think it brings a lot of good attitudes coming in to play the game. And also, like with the basketball team winning the regional championship, obviously the basketball player is going to have a really, really great attitude. They're going to be upbeat and happy to come play some softball too.
And really, you look at it, the success kind of stems further back than that even. We were just talking before we came on camera here about, your Little League success and the All-Stars and winning back-to-back state titles. And what was that like, and how has that kind of helped you too?
That was a really, really exciting point in all of our lives as little girls, and I think it's really just pushed us to continue our softball career and do well too in high school.
Well, so far this year, you guys have been on a roll, winning 11 games in a row. What was it like at Myrtle Beach, though? Just a kind of a bonding experience. How do you describe that week?
I think it was a great week. We got to stay in rooms with all the girls on our teams. We got a chance to just hang out together and have fun. And, of course, winning the games made it even better. So,
What's been clicking for this team? Why are you guys winning so much?
I just think that we have fun together, and everyone on the team kind of gets along well, and we see eye to eye most of the time.
Your batting average right around 500. You've hit 3 home runs so far. Some measuring tape shot home runs too, I've heard. So what's been? How well have you been seeing the ball?
Pretty well. I like to see a lot of pitches. I like to get deep in the count sometimes. But it definitely builds confidence. You just have to stay relaxed and do my best.
Do you prefer a certain pitch? Are you a fastball hitter, or what do you like the best?
Fastballs are obviously nice all the time. I do like the inside corner though.
Inside corner. Uh-oh. You just gave that away. You have to change it up now.
I don't care. I've hit outside well too. I got 2 triples at Myrtle Beach that were on the outside corner, 2 to right field.
There you go. Very nice. So you can't pitch her anywhere, all right? So look out. All right, Sarah Heineman, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Here with Alexis Maynard. Alexis obviously is, your last name you might know as, everybody associates TJ Maynard with you. That's obviously your father, and he's a football coach over here. But Alexis has her own identity too. She's a good softball player and basketball player. And I got to ask you about the basketball team. Obviously a great run that you guys went to Northern Kentucky and represented the region at state. What was it like to experience that and then to come right back and get right into a new sport, softball?
Yeah, it was a great experience to go down there and see all the great teams, and we got to even get better. Even though we did lose, we got to see what we did wrong and everything. And I came back and played in a scrimmage the day that we got back from state tournament. I got off the bus and walked over here and played. So not much time.
How long does it take though to get fully adjusted?
It took me a couple weeks. First couple games I did
You can't dribble a softball game.
No, I did not hit very well, but I got it back together a little bit.
Well, you've definitely been picking it up lately.
Yeah.
You've hit some home runs. You're driving in runs. It seems like, the old adage is hitting is contagious. It seems to really be true for this team.
Yeah, we worked round counting game. We could not hit at all, so we did not want that to happen all year. So we got in the cages and worked hard, and we knew what we had to do.
What have you worked on specifically to make yourself such a better hitter?
To keep my front shoulder in, because I usually pop up a lot, so I gotta keep my front shoulder in. It helps a whole lot.
You guys have won 11 in a row, and you're going into a pretty neat little showcase here coming up this weekend. Obviously, you have a game against Lewis County first, so your focus is on that. But how much are you looking forward to this weekend playing some real good quality competition?
Yeah, they're going to be really good, and I'm really excited to play them so we can prove that we're better than what we were last year, or towards the end of the season last year.
Such a good region, though, isn't it? I mean, in terms of the talent, you look at you guys in Boyd County and Ashland, and of course, East Carter hasn't lost yet. Where do you think this team could possibly end up by the end of the year?
I think we could definitely win region if we get everything together and we focus.
All right, Alexis, thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
Here with Russell softball coach Dave Wheeler in his second season as a head coach here at Russell. Let's rewind way back though. Well, not way back. I don't want to show your age too much, but 1990, minor league baseball playing days. You spent one season in the Reds organization with the Billings Mustangs of the Pioneer League as a 21-year-old. How often do you think of those days?
Usually when I get a phone call, a text message, an email from somebody I played with. It was a really good time. Probably the best part about it was the next year the Reds had won the World Series.
Right.
So, you go to spring training as the world champs, and you have Larkin, Davis, Sabo, the Nasty Boys, all those guys in the clubhouse right next door. It was really a fun experience.
Any of those guys in particular make a personal impact on you?
No. Those guys, they get paid a lot of money. And guys like me and some other guys who were catchers, we did a lot of the grunt work of catching bullpen. You know, you get your experience of catching some of those guys. A few guys that I was in the minors with made it to the majors, and you know, their work ethic is something you really admire, like Reggie Sanders. A guy that spent a long time in the majors, just how he approached at bats, how he did his work in the field, and those are things that, you know, you want to carry over. And on days you don't play, you know, you ask a lot of questions to people, and that play different places. Because one day I wanted to be a coach, and you know, you get in the right situation, you try to put those traits to use.
Well, obviously, you've been in coaching now for several years, a couple decades now in the area, baseball and softball. We'll get to Russell softball here in a little bit, but I got to ask about your daughters first. Taylor Wheeler was a standout athlete in the area. She was a Sportsman of the Year one year for the Daily Independent, and you know, what's she doing now? I know she's at Walters State. How's she doing down there?
She's doing really well. She's hitting about 420. They're 29-4, 19-1 in the conference. I got to go down in the fall and watch her play every weekend. I've been down twice this year. The grandparents go a lot. You know, they're, both sets are retired.
Okay, that's good.
So, you know, I get a lot of video clips of how she's doing.
What about Savannah? You know, obviously she's a player at Boyd County. What's it like being a Boyd County basketball father and a Russell softball coach? What's that like, juggling those two?
It's not hard, except maybe twice a year when Boyd and Russell play. I wear neutral colors on that day. But you know, basketball is going really well for her. We flew out of Myrtle Beach Friday into Columbus for an AAU tournament. She's heading out of town this weekend to Louisville for an AAU tournament, and you know, she spends a lot of time at it.
You guys have been on such a roll here, 11 wins in a row. This is as of Wednesday, and you guys had such a great trip down at Myrtle Beach. What was that experience like on and off the field? Well,
you know, one big thing, this group had never been out of town on a spring trip, and that was one thing that we wanted to let them experience. With the success that the girls basketball team had, it kind of put us behind, and our first week of the season was our first week on the field. And you know, we got a chance to go down there when the weather was a lot better.
Right.
Get some work in, do a lot of cage work, do a lot of throwing, a lot of fielding, situational stuff, and get caught back up to where we needed to be.
You guys up and down the lineup have really been hitting the ball a lot better as the season has kind of progressed. It seems like every facet has gotten better. Haven Lane, talk about her real quick if you can, just what she's done in the pitching circle.
Well, you know, Haven's 14 years old, and you got to remember that. Savannah's a 14-year-old, so I know what it's like to have a 14-year-old around.
Right.
You want to put them in situations to be successful, but you want to challenge them as well. And Cassie hurt her shoulder this year a little bit, and has limited her pitching. And, you know, basically I told Haven, I said, sis, it's your ball, let's see what you do with it. And she has a travel ball mentality where she plays a lot of travel ball.
Right.
And she's just went out and thrown extremely well. Her last 3 outings, she's had 4 walks. We played good defense behind her. And, you know, she's had a chance to really make a statement about her game.
What's maybe the biggest thing you've learned about your team so far?
They're girls. And, you know, that's a whole different ball game.
Right.
But, you know, last year was our first year here. You know, we had 26 wins. A lot of things we did were on the fly. But after a full off season, doing some drills and different situational stuff, it gave us a chance to develop. And they're more familiar with me. I'm more familiar with them. And you know, we spent a lot of time on hitting. We're hitting 379 as a team.
79.
We hit 426 last week at Myrtle Beach.
Wow.
And I think we had 412 at bats. We struck out 51 times. So that's a really good percentage.
Yeah.
And you don't really worry about batting averages. We worry about quality of bats. If a kid bats 4 times in a game, we want them to see at least 12 to 20 pitches in a game. And if they're doing that, it means their timing's a lot better. And once we started realizing that as hitters, our discipline got a lot better to play.
And finally, I want to give you a chance to talk about this weekend. I know we talked a little bit for the newspaper article, but you know, you and Scott Ingram over at Ashland have worked together to put together a pretty nice field of teams. And Friday night and Saturday, some good softball both places.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You know, one thing, Scotty was first year last year. mine. We spent a lot of time talking. Scotty's a great guy, and I was telling him, I said, when you go out of town a lot, it puts a lot of expenses on the families, and you're kind of limited. But if we could combine and get teams to come in here, where our schools are so close together, we get home games out of the deal.
Right.
We get people in our community and our booster programs make a little bit of money that we can put back on our girls. And instead of doing a mass email, we got real selective and went out and got our teams. We got Spring Valley, which has 5 girls that are going to college. They're a very good program. Scott, West Virginia, a guy who coaches them. I coached travel ball with a couple years ago.
Okay.
I was coaching the Dusters. Great guy. We got Wheelersburg coming in. We both play Wheelersburg during the year, so we didn't need to play them in the round.
And they haven't lost yet this year.
They haven't lost yet.
Sims Valley, same deal. They haven't lost
Valley,
yet.
8-0. Very good program. Odie Atkins has been up there for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to play in his tournament next weekend and playing a team out of Cincinnati and Columbus on the same day, back to back.
Wow.
We got East Jasmine and East Carter coming in to play in it. Tom Hand does a great job at East Jasmine. They're 13-1.
Ranked 9th in the state.
Ranked 9th in the state. We're playing them on Saturday morning at 11 o'clock. And at 3 o'clock, we're going to play Montana Fouts and East Carter.
Right.
He doesn't get any better. And that's 25 wins and 1 losses between 2 teams. And, that's a challenge that we wanted to do. It's going to take 3 games for somebody to win the region. And if you go out and you play quality teams during the year, you should be prepared for postseason play. And, that's our goal. We're not going to back down from anybody, just like the other local teams aren't going to back down from anybody, and give it our best shot.
All right. Well, best of luck this weekend and the rest of the season. It's supposed to be beautiful weather. So.
Oh, yeah, 70 degrees out. People like softball. I know turkey season comes in this weekend. There probably a lot of people out hunting. But, you got
get the hunting done early and then come back.
Done early. You got 4 games at each facility on Saturday. If you pay here, you get in there on the same ticket.
Yep.
So, people will get their money's worth when they go watch some ball games this weekend locally.
All right, Coach. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
All right, we're back at Russell Softball Complex. Matt Sparks Zack Klemme. We're going to wrap up HTPT for this week. Matt, what do you got for 2 for the road?
Well, for 2 for the road today, I got a little story to tell you, Zach.
All right.
I'm going to go with the Rockies' Trevor Story. What a story he has been. First 7 hits in the major leagues, 6 were home runs.
How about that?
Hit 7 home runs in the first week.
Aaron's over here pitching a fit because he's on his fantasy team and he wants to make sure that
exactly.
everybody knows it. Okay, so you got lucky. Good job.
It's all about Aaron, isn't it? I mean, Aaron's not even in the shot, and we're talking about Aaron.
Yeah. Oh well,
But I could follow the story under making the most of your opportunity because Trevor might not even be playing right now for the Rockies. If Jose Reyes went in some legal trouble, there's an alleged incident with his wife back in November, so now he's on paid leave. And if you want to look at the pay scale for the Rockies right now, Trevor Story has some memorabilia now in the Hall of Fame.
absolutely.
And Jose Reyes spent a week at home last week while he was out batting. Jose Reyes made more in that week than Trevor's going to make the entire season.
Isn't that great?
So there's a little bit of income inequality in baseball right now. I think, of course,
Yeah.
Jose should be making more than Trevor.
Yeah.
But that much more, I don't really think so.
Yeah. Good point. Well, kind of transition a little bit. It's always NFL season, even when it's not football season. It never stops. The NFL on Wednesday, we filmed this on Wednesday. Today on Wednesday, the NFL PR guy announced on Twitter, he announced that they are going to make the announcement soon of when they are going to announce the NFL regular season schedule for 2016. So he made an announcement that they are going to announce when they are going to make an announcement. So, in the spirit of that ridiculousness, we're just going to say that we're going to make an announcement soon of when we're going to make an announcement on Facebook, on Halftime Prep Talks page, of when we're going to announce where we're going to be next week.
So
Did you follow
wait a
that?
minute. So you're going to announce it when?
We're just going to announce
Okay.
it. We haven't figured that out yet.
Okay.
I was just trying to get through saying announce 3 times without stuttering, which I think we managed to do that. So anyway.
Okay, sure.
Well, we better just drop the mic and walk off on that
Yeah.
one. You've been watching HTPT here at Russell Softball Complex. He's Matt Sparks. I'm Zack Klemme. Aaron Snyder's back there somewhere. We're produced by Fannin Automotive Family, presented by Fannin Automotive Family. We'll see you next week from a to-be-determined location.